Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Faizul bin Rosali. My matric number is TN170180. So I'm going to present about the introduction for this project. A hazop is a coordinate and detailed examination of an arranged or existing procedure or task in order to distinguish and evaluate issues that may relate to hazards or anticipate productive activity for faculty or equipment. The theory of hazard is to routinely question each part of a process that find out how it can be caused to deviate from design intent and decide whether a deviation of this kind can cause any risk. That's all for the introduction.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Syafrina Nur Hidayah binti Syamsuddin. So I will continue this presentation. So the existing and newly organized jobs have been divided into valid units and the hazop protocol is followed. The hazop methodology is given as shown in the poster. The process system is designed and the potential for deviations is taken into account. There is awareness of any possible cause of disappointment. Established shields and protection mechanisms are identified and their ability to resolve discrepancies is evaluated. At a time when a dangerous situation is identified, the process changes or structural changes may be recommended, not more or less a part of the hazard study team. In general, 4 to 6 persons, a service provider and a writer to make the observation. This group shall consist of individuals as noted: design manager, project manager, plant executive, maintenance manager, HSE manager, facilitator and a writer. So I will continue to the process description of biodiesel production. Converting the feedstock of crude palm oil (CPO) into fuel-grade biodiesel will be performed in a pilot plant with a capacity of 200 tons per batch. The batch process has been selected for operational flexibility of equipment, the possibility of a variety of raw materials as well as the plant retrofit for future development. The pilot plant design is modular. One module for CPO pretreatment which converts CPO into bleached palm oil (BPO). The second one for refining and separating which converts and processes the BPO into the end of product of biodiesel that meets EN 14214 fuel specifications. In the pretreatment module, the process begins with degumming when the CPO is heated with phosphoric acid to remove the natural gums and followed by bleaching with activated earth under vacuum to remove the coloring matters as well as to absorb any metal ions content. Other impurities such as dirt and solid particles are removed using a bleaching earth filter. The objective of pre-treatment section is to prepare the raw materials quality to be fit for the second module. The product of this module is the refined bleached palm oil. The subsequent process is esterification and trans-esterification of the BPO with methanol and the process of acid-base catalyst respectively. The chemical reaction of producing biodiesel is a biodiesel esterification. Animal and plant fats and oils are typically made of triglycerides, which are esters of free fatty acids with the trihybrid alcohol and glycerol. In the esterification process, the alcohol is deprotonated with a base to make it a stronger nucleophile. Commonly, ethanol or methanol are used. Normally, the reaction will proceed either accidentally, slowly or not at all. Heat as well as an acid or base are used to help the reaction proceed more quickly. It is important to note that acid or base not consumed by the trans-esterification reaction. Thus, they are not reactants but catalysts. Almost all biodiesel is produced from virgin vegetable oils using the base catalyst technique, as it is the most economical process for treating virgin vegetable oils, requiring only low temperatures and pressures and producing over 98% conversion yield. However, biodiesel produced from other sources or by other methods may require acid catalyst, which is much slower. Next, the reaction is called trans-esterification, and the process takes place in 4 steps. The first step is to mix the alcohol for reaction with the catalyst, typically a strong base such as sodium hydroxide NaOH or potassium hydroxide KOH. The alcohol or catalyst is then reacted with the fatty acid so that the trans-esterification reaction takes place. The catalyst is prepared by mixing the methanol and a strong base such as sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide. During the preparation, the NaOH breaks into ions of Na plus and OH minus. The OH minus abstracts the hydrogen from methanol to form water and leaves the CH3O minus for available for another reaction. Methanol should be dry as possible. When the OH ion reacts with the H plus ion, it reacts to form water. Water will increase the possibility of a side reaction with free fatty acids to form soap, which is an unwanted reaction. Once the catalyst is prepared, the triglyceride will react with 3 moles of methanol, or excess methanol must be used in the reaction to ensure complete reaction. The 3 attached carbons with hydrogen react with the OH ions and form glycerin, while the CH3 group reacts with the free fatty acid and form fatty acid methyl ester.
Okay, Assalamualaikum Prof. Talib. My name is Muhammad Zahir Ikhwan bin Muhammad Zubir. I will present about a hazop study in the biodiesel plant. So, in this study, we focus on 2 types of reaction, which are esterification reaction and trans-esterification reaction. So, that means there are 2 types of reactor that will be needed in this study. So the first reactor is esterification reactor, and the second is trans-esterification reactor. So both of these reactor will be provided with agitator, or also known as a mixture. Okay, usually the crude palm oil is used as a raw material for produce biodiesel. Okay, this crude palm oil is a free fatty acid, so that means it will go to the esterification process first in order to turn it into fatty acid ester. Okay, so in the esterification process, the alcohol that usually used in this process is methanol or ethanol. Is used to turn this free fatty acid turn into fatty acid ester. In other words, if the alcohol that used in this process is methanol, so the product is fatty acid methyl ester. So if while the alcohol that used in this study is ethanol, that means the product is fatty acid ethyl ester. Okay, so usually the heat and acid will be needed in this process in order to make the reaction proceed more faster. The source of heat in this process is using steam, while the acid that usually used in this process is potassium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide. Okay, so the temperature of the fatty acid and the pressure of the fatty acid will be indicated by using a temperature indicator and pressure indicator. After that, the product will direct flow into the trans-esterification reactor for trans-esterification process. Okay, so the function for trans-esterification is to make the fatty acid is more desired condition. Okay, for the hazop study, we found that 4 nodes in this two process. First is charging of crude palm oil to reactor. Second is charging of alcohol to alcohol tank, and the third is charging of acid to acid tank, and the last one is charging of reactor to reaction. Okay, so first I will brief about charging of crude palm oil to reactor. Okay, so in these cases, we determine for the possible cause, direct consequence, and action required if there are no or less or more flow in this charging process, and we also determine the what will happen if the more pressure that involved in this charging process. So basically this action required is needed in order to avoid for the possible cause, such as do maintenance on pump or valve, and visual inspection of pipelines to avoid line rupture or clogging, and feed pump failure and something like that. Okay, next we go for charging of alcohol to alcohol tank. So basically these are more almost same for the hazop study if compared to charging of crude palm oil to reactor. So the possible cause, direct consequence, and action required also almost same with the hazop study for charging of crude palm oil to reactor. So we'll determine the possible cause, such as if there are no flow, what will be happen. That means maybe caused by feed pump failure and inlet line rupture. So that's mean if this problem happen, that's mean there are no alcohol in the alcohol tank, or alcohol exposed to the surrounding air. Okay, next we go for charging of acid to acid tank. So basically the hazop study for charging of acid to acid tank is also almost same with charging of alcohol to alcohol tank and charging of crude palm oil to reactor. So we skip for the charging of acid to acid tank, and we go for charging of reactor to reaction. So in these cases, the parameter that involved in this process is flow, pressure, vacuum, drain, and the last one is agitation. So the flow and pressure also almost same, but what I want to mention to you is about as well as. So this okay, sorry, so I want to tell you about this section, which is for low pressure steam. So as I tell you before, steam is the heat source for the to make the esterification process more faster. So if the streamline valve is failed, or streamline of valve open unknowingly, so that's mean the process for esterification is become more slower. So that's mean the production will be disturbed. And then to avoid this possible cost, so that's mean we need to maintenance for the valve and do direction indication on the valve and install the breather valve for the steam line. And I also want to mention about the agitation. So if there are no missing, so that mean the agitator motor fail or shaft seal fail. So if there are no agitator function well, so that means the slurry will get more thick inside the reactor. So in order to avoid this agitator motor fail, we need to proper check the lubrication, or I mean the preventative maintenance for the agitator. And if the more missing, the possible cause that would be happen is gear reducer failure, and the impeller of the agitator will be run with high rev per minute. So in order to avoid this problem, we need to do proper inspection and maintenance. So I will pass this present to Ismail. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum to Dr. Mutalik. My name is Cik Ismail Bajak Sulon. Today, I would like to continue my group presentation. My part is result and discussion. This section was carried out for 2 different operations and 4 note the result and tabulated recommendation and given for each note based on discussion. For the charging of CPO to reactor VE201, pipeline manufacture more pressure, which is increase the pressure in reactor chain for explosion. When the valve in the downstream is closed, that suddenly pressure get developed in the pipeline, leading to pipeline rupture of pump damage. To avoid the circulation line at the pump discharge and to storage tank to be provided. As no return valve NRV to install in the pump discharge line to avoid bad flow of CPO. For the charging alcohol to alcohol tank, more pressure, which is pressure on the tank wall, tank may rupture. Present get developer in the pipeline leading to pipeline rupture. Alcohol that usually methanol or ethanol, which are higher flammable, lead to the surrounding that can lead to fire explosion. A no-return valve NRV to be installed in the pump discharge lane to avoid bad flow of alcohol. For charging IC to IC tank, pipeline rupture at lead, which is IC that usually an AOH or KOH escape out through overflow pipe on exposed. An AOH can cause erection to eyes. This is impact interaction to eyes, skin, and mucous membrane, and allergic reaction, eyes escape burn. They are temporary loss of hair. Workers may be harmed from exposure of sodium hydroxide and respiratory problem in workers. KOH can cause erection of hive with churning, redness, swelling, greater exposure, cause severe burn with possible blinding resulting chronic exposure, prolonged contact with dilute solution of dust. Thus, potassium hydroxide has a destructive effect on the tissue. Chance of explosion. An online pH meter to be installed in the tank so that technician can monitor pH in the tank. Vampire should be installed in the tank to avoid buoy out of pressure or vacuum inside the tank. For the changing reactor to reaction, first, less alcohol process get distributed and CPO does not convert to fatty acid ester. More alcohol, excess alcohol in reactor, more pressure, which is pressure add on the tank wall, chance for explosion. More vacuum, which is vacuum generation inside the reactor tank, chain of implosion. More temperature, which is excess heat generated, may damage reactor wall, chain for explosion. Draining of reactor should be carried out step by taking interval. Sudden drain of slurry may generate vacuum inside the reactor. During the start, checklist procedure should be followed to avoid missing of doing one sequence. The work related obstruction with the important look out by hazard investigation group. The deviation we identify such as dangerous activity of the workers, improper functioning of the machine fault can be caused due improper maintenance and of the machine and again of the machine. That's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Faizul bin Rozali. My matric number is AN170180. So today I'm gonna present about the conclusion for this project. So the study cases presented for hazop prove that why the biodiesel process is mature and has no extreme toxic chemicals or operating conditions, there are still undesirable, dangerous possibilities in the existing biodiesel process design and operating procedures. The case study shows that possible high-level risks are present, and those risks can be better managed by recognizing them immediately. Overall, in this category of industry, it is instantaneously essential to boost up the safety measures, work procedures, and training personnel. That's all for the conclusion. Thank you.